All right, welcome to another episode of the Godly Business Podcast with Anne Jean Pierre. And as you can see today, I have the pleasure of introducing you guys to Devin, which is going. She is going to talk about whatever she wants to talk about. That's what we're doing today. We are chilling, getting to know each other. We met each other at this amazing course that we took, and she said two things, and I was like, "Girl, me, and you, we gotta get together." So that's what we're doing. So we're just going to chat, and you guys are just going to peer into our conversation. So that's it. Welcome, Devin. Introduce
Thank
yourself. How you doing?
you. I'm doing great. Thank you, Anne, for having me. I am excited to be here and looking forward to our chat. So let's dive in, whatever you want to start with first.
Wherever you want to start. Before we started recording, you were telling me all of these cool things that you're looking into. I'm curious about the homeschooling, like how you manage
Yes.
everything, because I have
Yeah.
one son and I'm just like, am I doing this right? I don't know.
You will forever ask yourself that question. Just know that and be okay with it.
It's a lot too, because there's work, there's trying
Yes.
to launch a business, and
hmm
trying to not lose yourself and all of those things that seem
Yeah.
very important. So how do you manage that?
Okay. First, coffee. That's the first thing. That's the first thing that helps me manage everything is coffee. Um, Secondly, a lot of communication with my husband, and a lot of communication with the kids. Since I have two boys, so let's just start with that. I have two boys, Evan and Troy. Evan is the oldest. He is 12. He's going into seventh grade. Troy is 10, and he's going into fifth grade.
Oh, okay.
And I homeschooled them both. They have only been to public school once, and that was during the COVID crazy pandemic year, 2019-2020 school year, when school got out for COVID. We went to the virtual school that they were doing, and they hated it. So I pulled them out, went back to
To
homeschooling, and
homeschooling.
we've been homeschooling ever since. So we homeschooled before then and then after, and that's that.
I think it was a
So
sign. It
yeah,
was like, girl, don't do it.
it was like, don't even worry about this. But even before then, they had decided that they didn't want to go back to public school for the next year, because I give them a choice every year. I tell them, you choose. What do you want to do? And they choose. This year they chose homeschool. I don't know what will happen next year. So we'll see.
I don't know. I have some time. Mine is four, so
Yeah.
I do have some time, but
Yeah.
I definitely do feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And
Four is
like,
fun.
it's fun, but it's also hard to manage, like with everything that's going on. Like
Yeah.
nothing else stops, right? And I think one of the things for me is like trying to find support, which is what I'm looking for. Um, it's yeah.
Yeah. So what I did when my kids were that age, 3 and 4, there is a school-based program at a church locally where I live in Tennessee, and it was a 2-day-a-week program. They went to that program for pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. That gave me a break and time to
Yeah.
myself, and it gave them interaction with other kids. And what I tell people about homeschooling at a young age, pre-K and kindergarten, the most important thing is to teach your child how to be a good human being. The rest
Yeah.
of it will
That's what
come.
everyone said. Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
I spoke
The
to
rest.
is just like, just teach them to be respectful, respect the rules,
Yes.
have fun in a respectful manner, and then everything.
hmm
They're like, don't even worry about trying to teach stuff until they're at least 7. I'm like, 7? That's late.
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Well, when it comes to just like hardcore things um, like addition, like really sitting down doing seat work and forming letters and stuff like that, you can wait till later. So I feel my philosophy is 4, 5, even 6 year olds. You're teaching them how to be a good human being, how to have manners, how to share. Obviously, sharing is
Yeah.
a big thing with kids,
He's the only child, so
especially those only kids. Letter recognition, I think, is important early on. Letter recognition, number recognition, color recognition, and you can do that in fun ways when you're in the car, looking at billboards. Like there's
Yeah, we play I
always,
Spy a
always
lot
learn.
to
Yes,
help with
make it
that.
fun. So just really gamify things, and you don't have to sit down and do what we call seat work until later. I did seat work in kindergarten, though. I did do a curriculum for my oldest in kindergarten, and it's called Abeka, and it was the best. I always recommend it because he is an amazing reader because of that Abeka curriculum.
I'm gonna write that down, girl. How do you
It
spell
is a
that?
heavy emphasis on phonics, which school systems are going back to phonics now. They straight
I see
away with the
that.
sight words, and they're going back to phonics because phonics works. It teaches children how to decode words for their life,
Yeah,
and he is an
I've
extremely
seen
strong
that a lot on a lot of the homeschool programs that I've been looking at.
reader.
Phonics is the biggest thing. So I've been
Yeah.
doing letter sounds with him, and he's got it down for the sounds. Now I'm trying to get him to blend, which is
Yes.
super funny because there's certain things that he says, and I'm like, "What did you just say?"
Like, right. Some of that sounds a little. I
It's
know what you're
like,
talking
what?
about.
I did not say that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's super fun.
Yeah.
So you're doing that and launching a
Mhm.
business,
Yes,
girl.
right now, my husband and I are starting to get into government contracting. This past weekend, I attended a Redefining Life Abroad Summit, and it was amazing. And government contracting was one of the topics of discussion. So we had previously talked about it, and I felt very overwhelmed by it. But when I attended the summit, I was like, okay, this is doable. This is something I can do, that we can do together. And that's going to be the core of what we do moving forward as we're working towards moving abroad just part time. We want to spend part of the year abroad, part of the year in the States. And we need some type of income that we can get big sums of money, but flexible in terms of time. And you don't
Gotcha.
always have to be exchanging time for money, punching a clock, and going into work. So
That makes
this is
sense.
something that we're focusing on.
So now I'm curious, where are you thinking of going? I know you've been
Okay.
to Guatemala and you expressed
Yes.
your, you know,
Yes.
experience with the bugs.
Don't get me started. I still have some marks. I still have scars.
So, are you thinking Guatemala or are you thinking somewhere
No.
else? Where are you thinking?
I'm not thinking Guatemala, but it's not because I didn't really enjoy Guatemala. It's mostly because I'm the type of person, once I've done a thing, I have to do something else. If I go back to Guatemala, I probably wouldn't go to where I went. I'd go to a
Okay.
different city. But I'm thinking about Mexico. It wasn't on my radar before, but now
I
it is.
love
And I'm like,
Mexico.
I've only been like when I went on a cruise, and you don't get to see much
Yeah.
beyond, you know. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking
it's
about
not the
Mexico
same.
as a landing
Yeah, we
because I
drove
really want
from
to experience
Cancun.
some stuff there.
We drove from
Okay.
Cancun all the way down to Chetumal, which is at the border of Belize, and just
Oh,
did different little towns there. Like I love, love, love Mexico. Like the
okay.
first time
So
I
this is
stepped
a
foot there, I
sign.
was like, I could live here
This is a
forever.
sign. Yeah. Okay. So that really makes me feel hopeful. I really want to. My husband is super skeptical about Mexico because all he knows is what's on TV.
Yeah, it's not.
The
It's not.
stereotype.
And I'm telling you, like for all the cities that we visited, I've gone with my husband most of the time, but I could tell you, like, even if my husband wasn't there and I decided to walk at night by myself, at least the towns that we were in, I wouldn't feel unsafe or anything like that just walking around by
Oh,
myself.
wow.
Like, yeah, I the people are super nice. They're very, very friendly. So yeah, I think he'll love it. I think he'll love it.
What's your favorite cities that you've been
Um,
to in Mexico so far?
so I don't know. I would say I Cozumel. I
Okay.
love Cozumel. Um, I literally, I almost cried when we had to leave. I was like, this. I'm originally from Haiti, right?
Okay. Okay.
So when I went to Cozumel, it literally like felt like I was back in Haiti. Felt like home.
Wow.
Like I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. It felt like
Yeah, yeah.
this feels just like Haiti. This feels just like home. It's just
Wow.
calm, people chill. Like yeah, so I loved it. The other place I would have to say I do like Chetumal. It was like very. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but it was
I'm
like
like,
very
how you
chill.
spell that? I'm gonna have to research that.
Oh yeah, there's so many other places I want to visit. Like next year, I
Yeah,
know I want to go to Guadalajara, which is more like a
yeah,
bigger type of city.
yeah,
Yeah, so I have a list of places. I'm like, I'm gonna travel all over Mexico to figure out where I want to go. But
yeah.
yeah, definitely still the same thing. I'm looking to
Okay.
find ways to move abroad.
Right, right.
Mexico's at the
That's our
top.
big thing. Yeah, Mexico for me, it's at the top right now, and I want to go to Ecuador. I have a list: Ecuador, Chile, Panama. I want to go to those places because I'm still trying to become fluent in Spanish. Like
Wow.
that's my goal. Like I really,
Well,
really want to
I
study.
will tell you, the funny thing about the Spanish dialect so far I've been learning, you got to be very careful because
Hmm.
I have met people like my one of my Mexican friends. He was like, Cubans don't speak Spanish. I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, I don't know what
Right,
they
right.
speak,
I've heard
but they
that.
don't speak Spanish. I was like,
I don't know what that is.
he's like, I don't know what that is. He's like, they be talking and I get so offended. I'm like, what you say?
Right.
So the dialect is so different. So that's kind of like,
Yeah.
you have to get
Yeah.
immersed in the culture to kind of like have an understanding. Like, okay, that they say this for this, but it's kind of like Creole. There's
Yeah.
so many different versions of Creole, and like
Yeah.
my husband, he's from Guadeloupe, and
Okay.
the stuff they would say in Creole, I'm like, that is not what that means in my language. Like the same word, but I'm like, that is completely different.
That's not that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it
I
will be
I
interesting though
feel
to
that way
see.
about Spanish. It's a bit overwhelming, but before I went to Guatemala, I was really just shy about speaking and interacting because when I started learning Spanish, obviously it was high school like it was for most people, and then I took classes in college, and it's a really formal like textbook way of
Mhm.
speaking, and don't nobody talk like that on the streets.
Exactly. Not even us. We're English. Like,
Right, right. Not even us with English. So, um, going to Guatemala really helped. It just helped my confidence. And if I didn't know what someone was saying, I just break out Google Translate and they'll teach you on the spot. You can learn something new, and the people are really patient. So I was like, okay, I got this. I can do
listen,
this. I
you
want to do
said
this in
Google
many
Translate.
places.
I will tell you something that was hilarious. So we were in Costa Rica, and we were trying to find a ride, like a taxi, and we could
Hmm.
to try to explain where we're going. So we pulled out Google Translate, and we were translating to the phone, showing it to the guy, and the guy looked super confused. Like he was like, I don't know what you guys talking about. So there was somebody walking by, so we heard them. He's like, "Hey, do you guys need help?" We're like, "Yeah, this is what we're trying to tell him." He's like, "Oh no, that's not what you say.
Oh,
That's not what
wow.
Google is translating at all."
Uh oh.
Yeah, so it was just like it was asking about his mother and blah blah blah. I'm like, "No, we're asking about
What?
directions."
Right.
So you can't
Yeah.
rely 100%
No,
on Google
absolutely not.
Translate.
Absolutely not. I agree. I did learn with Google Translate, I can have them speak into the phone, and that helps, but it's still just not 100% reliable.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I try
Yeah,
to
I feel
piece
like
words
some good
together for
keywords.
me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like when I'm trying to speak Spanish and I'm just like, okay, I know this words mean this, so maybe that
Yeah.
word with this.
Yeah, like some core words that mean the same across the board. Google
Exactly. Or
Translate
like
for those.
sounds. I'm
Yeah.
like, my cousin, she went to Dominican Republic and she wanted goat. And
Mm,
no, she wanted lamb, but she didn't know
okay.
how to tell them that she want lamb, and she started making the noise, but she was like,
Okay.
so then she was making gestures, and I'm like, and then people like, oh, this is what you want, and then they showed her a
That
picture. She's like,
works.
yes. So I'm like,
Yes.
sometimes language is everything, the
It
hands,
is.
the
You know
sounds.
what? I was watching, but I was watching a YouTube video. A lady I started following recently that speaks Spanish and teaches Spanish on her YouTube, and she was saying that you can't be afraid to come across like a child when you're speaking a new language. You cannot sound as intelligent in another language as you do in your primary language
Exactly.
when you're first learning. So just be okay with sounding like a child, not getting verb tenses right, making noises, using those visual cues. Like, do all that.
Listen,
It's
when I
fine.
was learning English, there's just so many things that just didn't make sense to me at all. There are still things that
Yeah.
still doesn't make any sense. I'm like, the English language
Yeah.
is weird. I'm just saying.
It is.
I'm like, when you're thinking about cough and though and through, and I'm like, it's not what, it's not adding up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just what.
And that's something else I do very part time. I teach ESL. I've done that on and off for the last 6 years to kids, adults, and right now only adults. And the English language baffles me, and I teach it.
Yeah, it's. I love language. I love to learn about language.
Me too.
My goal would be to learn 8 languages because most of my friends speak at least eight. So I was like, I need to
Wow.
get to their level. And I'm like, my
Okay,
little three is
polyglot.
not enough.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What
Yay.
else? What else are you working on besides trying to get the government contract and
Yeah. I'm
being
trying to get the
super
government.
mom?
That's the hard part. That's the hard part, is just the balance. The balance is always difficult. You just have to find solutions. And sometimes that's like week by week basis. Like, what is my biggest hurdle this week and how can I solve this? So, sports are about to start for my boys. That's just something that's coming with the territory. So I have to take something off my plate, which means my spiritual business has to come off my plate for a minute because I'm focusing on the government contracts. School is about to start, sports are about to start, but I am also focusing on my other YouTube channel, which is about my family's experience and going to document our experience in terms of moving abroad, travel. I've had the channel for about 7 years. So it just covers stuff that we do as a family. So that's going to be my focus for the next 6 months, maybe, is homeschooling, government contracts, that the Taylor Times YouTube channel, and just really taking care of my family. Because as I get ready for that abroad transition, I want everything to kind of work a little more systematically than it does. Because when you homeschool, you have a lot of flexibility. But I need to figure out what that looks like in another country where English isn't the first language. Because we've always traveled with homeschool. Because we were traveling in our travel trailer first and our fifth wheel second.
What?
So we've always traveled with the kids homeschooling, but what does that look like when you have culture shock, when you have other things involved? So
Yeah, my husband and I
I want to get
talked
that.
about if we were to move abroad, we'll probably would have to put him in school just to help him transition,
Yeah,
and assimilate, especially he's the only child. Is that what you,
yeah.
or is that something you even considering, or like probably not?
Nah, I'm
Nah.
not considering it. And the reason why I'm not is because I have two kids. So because they have each other, I'm not worried as much about that loneliness factor. And it's like, as a homeschooling mom, you're always worried about, are your kids getting enough interaction with other kids? You always think about that. But I don't think at their age I would put them into a school, but I would seek out activities for them to be a part of, whether that's sports or whatever their interests are. My youngest son likes things with theater, like theater type stuff. He's a clown. And my oldest, he's really into the ocean things, marine
Oh,
biology.
cool.
So I want to find activities specific to their interests, and I think a lot of those things are a lot more affordable in different countries than they are in the U.S. It's just
Absolutely.
almost not feasible to do everything your children want to do financially and pay your light bill.
Yeah, that
It's
that
crazy out
that
here.
part, that part,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's one
crazy,
of the
and that's
things
one of
too.
my
Like,
biggest.
and looking into towns and cities and things like that, looking at what schools are
Yeah,
offered, what are some of the best schools, and things because one of the options I was looking, if I were to send my school in a regular school here, was a Montessori school. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. But then I was like, girl, $2,000 a month, baby.
I'm not paying college prices for no 4-year-old.
I, that's what I said. I'm like, that's a full college tuition. I'm like, we're
Absolutely.
gonna need to. The
Absolutely.
math is not math, and I need some scholarships, some
Hmm.
juice water,
Hmm.
something. 'Cause
Right.
$2,000 a
Absolutely.
month, and yeah,
Yeah.
not even counting for everything else, in life.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a mortgage. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, for a 4 year
Absolutely.
old. I'm like, on principle, I don't want to do it. Just not,
Yeah.
even if I had the money, I'm just like, he's
Same.
4.
Same. Same. This is not happening. I can take a fraction of that, put it aside for him to use at a later date for another purpose. Absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying. For college tuition, I let
Yeah.
or put it in market, some
Yeah.
invest
Yeah.
it or something. But yeah, that's very, very challenging to try to do. So what time frame are you guys thinking of dipping?
I can say we don't have a time frame, but I kind of do. I want like a March 2025 time frame as our first stint abroad. And another reason why I wouldn't put my kids in school is because I don't want to just be in one place for that 6 months. I want to do maybe 2 or 3 different places, depending on what we want to see, what we want to do. Because we like nature, we like hiking. I want to see waterfalls. I want to get in hot
Yeah,
springs. I want to do all those things. But I want March 2025 to be when we take our first long
yeah.
trek.
Launch. It's funny
That's
because
my goal.
I don't know what's going on with March 2025, but that's a recurring theme with a
Ah,
bunch of people I'm meeting. Like it's like by March 2025, I want to do this. By March 20, I'm like, what is going on with March
that's
2025?
interesting. What is going on with Mars?
That's what
Let me
I'm
write
saying.
this
Because
down.
even
I'm gonna
I
research this
myself, I
later.
was like, you know what? There's a lot of things that I'm like, God, I would like for this to happen by this date.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
can't tell you why it is, but I'm like, I want by March 2025 to have all of these things
Yeah.
in order. So it's like 4 or 5 people that's like March 2025. I'm like, I don't know. Is the world coming to an end? Is something
That's
popping?
interesting. Yeah,
That
what's
we
going to be
all
going
saying
on
March
in Mars?
2025.
Maybe because, I don't know, maybe because it's close to spring and that's when we intuitively feel the need to like blossom and step into newness or something. Maybe that's what it
Maybe because
is.
in a lot of culture, March is the new year, technically.
Yes, that is true. That is
So
true.
maybe that's why. But I was just like, I don't
Yeah.
know. This is like the fourth or fifth person that says March. So something better happen
March.
positively.
I'm gonna take it as a positive sign
Yeah,
that all things are gonna pop off in March 2025. That's good for our highest good.
me too. I'm looking forward to that. That's what's up. So government contracting. Obviously,
Hmm.
I have heard, and more people, more and more Black people are talking about government contracting as an
Yes.
option to get more funds. I've heard government contracting in the sense of like things I never thought about, like even like
Yeah.
picking up trash on the side of the road.
Yeah.
You could get a government
Yeah.
contract to do that. Cut grass on like the highway.
Absolutely.
You can get a government contracting like delivering supplies. I was like, oh
Yep.
snap! I never thought about that. So like, is there a specific field that you're looking into, or just whatever makes sense for you at the time that
Yeah.
works?
So we're gonna look into supply. And that's very broad, but we're gonna look into supply and see what it is that we can easily get our hands on. And the biggest thing is being able to deliver on what we say we can deliver on.
Yeah.
So whatever I've heard it put like this, like whatever you buy for your house, whatever you have, the government is buying the same things for different reasons. So if it's, for example, bottled water, tissue. I saw a government contract for some bread. They needed like X amount of loaves of bread going to somewhere, because you can just peruse the contracts without actually, being a
Yeah,
contractor
committing
yet.
to it.
Yeah, you can just search through. And I saw so many things. So we want to look into supply and also into teaching, because there are some opportunities for training. Like training, they may need someone to train this set of agents or this set of people at this particular place on this topic. Maybe they involve giving you the curriculum, you study it, and then you train people, because I've done that in the past. I used to teach criminal justice at a college after I left law enforcement. So, and then I teach ESL. I teach my children. So I teach all the
You're a
time. So I'm
teacher.
like, I can do that. I'm a teacher. I can do that. I can be a contractor. I can do that. So I feel like I have enough experience to do something like that. So I want to look into that as well, because it's something I can do remotely. I can do it from, wherever as well. So that's the biggest thing, but you have to have your business first, your LLC, or however you want to structure your business. And that's what we're working on now. We're in the phase of structuring the LLC, and then from there pursuing the contracts.
Okay, that's good. And first things first. First things first. But
Yeah.
that's awesome that you guys already like kind of looking into that. I do like the idea of teaching and being remote. It's like some of the
Yeah.
stuff that I saw is like I have to be here. And
Yeah.
like I want something fully remote where I'm like I could be anywhere and do
Yeah.
that.
Same.
But that's definitely cool. So my question was, you said something earlier, and now I forget what it was, around the government contracting. Um, it'll come back to me. But I know you said one of the ways you try to manage everything is having communication. What else
Yeah.
helps you to manage? Because
Um,
yeah,
Having a planner, writing things out, planning things, and more so sticking to the plan, because with homeschool, being that everything is flexible, you can put it off and do it this day, do it that day. But I've
true.
learned that if I write it down, and if I write it down, I need to do it when it happens, when I plan for it to happen. So really, writing things down. And me and my husband, we share things like on a Google Calendar. I'll put the event in, I'll share it with him, and he'll know this is happening on this date, and he does the same for me. And even with other personal appointments we have, it's all there so we can kind of see what
That's
we're working
smart.
with. Yeah.
That's
So
really,
we
really smart.
have to run the
That
household almost like a business sometimes.
that's exactly what it is running
Yeah.
like it like a business. Because
Yeah.
me and Danielle, she was part of the group as well that we were in. We did talk about something similar as far as like managing your, if you can't manage your personal finance, how it's going to be super hard to then transition and to
Oh,
try
yeah.
to manage your, your business finance, because the whole it's the same
Yeah.
thing. You need to know what's coming in, what's going out, things like that.
Absolutely.
So I know you said you're looking into the structure of your business. Are you talking about structure as whether there's going to be an S corp or whatever, or
Yeah.
are you talking more of
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, like that. And we decided to do LLC, so that's what we're going to go with.
okay,
Because my husband's done that in the past. He's done real estate and some other things. So he's the more business savvy one when it comes to stuff
yeah,
like
you
that.
never
I'm like,
know.
okay, I trust you. Let's go.
Listen,
Let's
you
do
never
that.
know. One of the things I've realized with me and my husband, we have two completely different skill sets. I'm like
Yes.
detailed
My husband.
person, and he's like big picture. Every time he try to go to the detail part, I'm like, bruh, where to go? That's not that's not your territory.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane for real. And I think that's like for business and everything else, it's like, why to define your job objective and like your stuff. And I feel
Yeah.
like the same thing with the household, just to make it less like okay, this is what you
Yeah,
do. So
absolutely.
even for our son, I'm like, he teaches him numbers. I'm like, you do the numbers, because he will
That's
not do
good.
the letters. Because I'm like, he would say a letter sound, and I'm like, that is not this letter sound, bro. Like,
That
what?
does sound that makes.
With his French, I have a accent, so does he, but his accent, I'm like,
Yeah.
just like the French accent, bro. That is not how you say that letter. And we,
Right. I think that's good that you're getting him involved now, though, because that's going to be important for later. When I started homeschooling, my husband was doing so many things. We hardly ever saw each other. He was the fireman, he was the EMS on the side,
oh,
and everything else. So I was doing all of the homeschooling. And so when he does things with them now, what he doesn't realize is anything you do with kids is teaching them. You're teaching them if you're mowing grass, if you're moving a piece of furniture, you're teaching them something. So I have to, let him know that's still teaching them. But as far as like curriculum, this, that, I do all of that.
No, I was like, I need help because I still
Yeah, it's
have
a lot.
I still have like all the things going on. So I was like, I
Yeah,
need help. And if we could split it because like since everyone tells us we don't have to worry about all the things. Um,
yeah,
so now I'm like, okay, then I'll just focus on just teaching him letters and sounds for now and recognize and
yeah.
starting to blend, but not be so because I that mom guilt. Like I'm like I'm not doing it right. I'm
Oh,
so behind. And like
absolutely.
yeah,
I still
so
have it.
yeah, it's so bad. I'm like, oh
It
my,
is
nobody
bad, yeah.
told me about this aspect of being a mom. So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
working, and it's like feeling like you're missing time with your child, like you're prioritizing
Yes,
this
absolutely.
and stuff like that. So I'm working the muscle of being able to say
Yeah.
no and not feel as bad just because I'm like, there's time for everything, and this is
Yeah,
there's time for that.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
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 it's that mommy mommy guilt can get really
yeah.
overwhelming sometimes.
It can. That's the hard part. And I think it's something that we all struggle with at some level and to some degree for the duration of being a parent. I don't know if it ever goes away. I don't know because there's going to be some aspect. When I launched my spirituality business in 2021, I put a lot of time into it. So some of the homeschool things was like, here, do that online. And so I had a lot of guilt about it, but you can't give 100% of yourself to everything. That's just not possible. But some things that you do, especially in terms of like business, this is for their future. This is also for their now because it takes money to live and survive. So you have to do what you have to do. And fortunately, children are so resilient. You can make it up in other ways and teach them in other ways as well. So you just have to give yourself permission to do that.
That's the key word. Give yourself permission
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
do that because
I was like, I'm going to give myself this amount of time. I'm going to go fully into this because I have to get this established. After that, I'm doing this. And give yourself the time and space for that,
I've
which is
started
why I've put it
trying
to the
to.
side because I need to refocus this year on homeschool in a big, big way because seventh grade and fifth grade, these are big years and I have to
Yeah.
give them what they
Oh my
deserve in
God.
these
I
years.
don't envy you right now. I'm already anxious for you.
Don't. I wish I had a little one again. Goodness gracious, I loved homeschooling like pre-K, second grade, oh, even third grade. I love that time period of homeschooling. It's just
Well,
so
girl,
great.
I'm gonna need when we get off the car. I'm gonna need
Yes, because I got some
information so I
blending
can get
tips. I
all
got
the
some
stuff
blend
because I'm
starter
just like,
tips. I
who
got lots of
wants
tips. I got lots of tips for this time period.
even
Lots of games. You can gamify anything, and at their age, they just love you and they love everything you do. So it's so easy to teach them. So
it's
easy.
everything. All he wants to do is play, which is also hard because
Yeah,
he like we're trying to teach him this time to play. This is no, and because he's at home, it's like all the time
yeah,
is playtime, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
You
So
have to just
yeah,
make it fun,
uh,
especially boys though too, because boys have a lot of energy. They want to do things hands on and do things differently. So when we learned blending sounds, we learned it physically. Like I'm holding up a flashcard of a blend sound, and if you get it right, you can hop towards me. If you get it wrong, you got to hop backwards, and
oh,
whoever
that's
gets to me
fun.
first wins. So like we just did that, and I can hold them up fast and go through them fast, and then they get that repetition of blending very quickly.
Oh,
So
that sounds fun because I literally was trying to figure out other ways to get him to like participate and stuff like that.
that's how,
But we were doing a lot of sit down stuff, and like one of
Oh
the
no, not
moms
not
was
at this
like,
age.
"Yeah, they were like, don't do
At
that.
this-
He's gonna hate
you'll
learning."
set them up to hate homeschool if you do a lot of
Exactly,
sitting down
that's what
at that
she said.
age.
She was like, "He's gonna hate learning. If you like trying to make it like the
Absolutely.
same as regular school, public school,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and
And that's
stuff."
the key is to throw that concept out of your mind and do all the fun, interactive things, anything you can do inside, you can take it outside and do it outside. That's the beauty of it. So
Yeah,
it's
I
just so much
definitely.
fun at that age.
I'm gonna need your number, girl.
I
Talk
got
about
you.
that. So what happened to your spiritual business? What pivot? What did you start it? Tell me more about that.
Okay, so I started my spirituality business after starting a personal development business and noticing the component missing. When you can do a lot with mindset work, a lot of things come up for you, a lot of issues, a lot of trauma, and then you're like, well, what do I do with this? Well, you have to kind of work that out with your higher power. Whatever religion you are, whatever you believe in, you still have to work that out with your higher power and incorporate that into your personal development. It all goes together. So I started kind of putting that with personal development and spiritual development and putting it together and serving it that way. I also became a Reiki master teacher. I don't know what year that was, but I did that as well. So working with energy and just helping people in that way as well. And I just really loved it. So I started it. I love it. I still love it. I just don't have a lot of time for the one-on-one that it really requires with clients. That's a lot of one-on-one time. And I just don't have that because the way my life is structured right now. And I want to get abroad. And this is what I have to do to make that happen right now. But I know I'm going to go back to it because it's what I love. It's a part of my purpose. So I'm
Have you looked
definitely going to
into other
get back
ways
into
they're
that.
still doing that, maybe in a group setting, so where it's not taking as much of your time with the one-on-one, maybe pairing
Yeah,
people
I
that.
have. I have. I've looked into doing it in a group setting. I do have a separate YouTube channel for that, and that's one way to
Girl,
get information. All right, I got two YouTube channels. Okay, two YouTube channels, and that's just a way of getting the information out. A big thing I do is gratitude. Like I tell people, gratitude is my jam. Like this is the foundational of personal and spiritual development. Is having a gratitude practice and really understanding what that means, not just this surface. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for water. Like you got to go deeper than that to have a true transformation. So that's something I explore on that channel as well. And that's been the biggest thing that I've employed to be able to reach multiple people without that one-on-one factor. But people really kind of almost demanded that one-on-one in a way.
yeah,
And
I can
people's
see why.
issues can be so personal,
Exactly.
and in terms of how I operate intuitively, it's more difficult to do in a group setting. I've done like group
Yeah.
Reiki, but then I'll feel and hear something specifically for a person, and I just really haven't felt led to do that in a group way. I don't know how to do it
Yeah, that
effectively
can be
without
very
feeling like
difficult.
I'm not giving you what you need.
Yeah,
So,
because everyone is so different, and how everyone
very,
responds to trauma is different. So I could see that.
absolutely.
Um,
And things come up that you may not want people to hear and know until you have processed it, and then you can invite people to share in your growth. But I just don't really like the group setting for that.
yeah, I could see that. I was just thinking of ways where you could still do your thing, like,
Right.
but
I
yeah,
still want to do my
I could.
thing.
Hey, one of the
Yeah.
ideas I'm gonna give you for free 99. You could think about when you move abroad is to do like retreats for spirituality and things
I
like
have
that.
thought about that. Yes, and
There's
I
a lot
appreciate that. That's
more
an
of that coming up.
affirmation. That's an affirmation for me.
There's a lot
Yeah.
more of that. I see a lot of that happening now,
Yeah.
with different just different religion and different things
Mhm.
like that, of like traveling and doing retreats and stuff. And that's one of the reasons why too. My husband and I are looking into doing like a boutique hotel, which I thought was so funny when
Oh man.
what's her name in our group said that. I was like, oh my gosh, this
Hmm.
is something I'm making down the line, and she's doing it right
Yes,
now. And I'm like, you go, girl. Like, I'm
I
living
would
my
love
dream
that
through.
too. I know that's right. I have all now. See, I'm a person that my the quote, the jack of all
Yes.
trades. I have wanted to do that too. I've always wanted to do like a bed and breakfast because I also bake. I used to have a little side business baking. I've done so many things, but I always wanted to have like a bed and breakfast. I was like, oh, I love that. I love the idea of running retreats because I think true transformation can take place when you're outside of your normal environment. Sometimes you need to come all the way out of your daily
Traveling does that
whatever.
too.
Traveling does that. I had some very spiritual experiences in Guatemala, and I got sick towards the end of my trip, and
Oh, thank
me and God had a lot of time to talk. And I'm telling you, just if things were revealed to me, and I saw how to heal myself. I don't really still know what was wrong with me to this day, but we made it work. We figured it out, and I did what I needed to do. But I think travel does that for people, and I would love to run retreats and then still be able to give people that group experience, but some individual time too.
I think that would be, I think that even if it's a small group, like maybe,
Yeah,
5 to 8 people, and then you'll have
yeah,
time in those days to do it, I think that would be
mm,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Do it, do it, do it, do
yes,
it.
yes. And we come stay at Joe Boutique Hotel.
Yeah,
We do it there.
girl, you know.
See, I love that, and I think that's another thing that collaboration does as we get into different settings and allow ourselves to be seen and to talk to people and come out our shells. We can kind of collaborate and work on our purposes in a collective way,
Yes,
and I really love
absolutely.
that.
And I don't
Hmm.
think it always has to be like a you give me so I give you type thing, like that
Right?
whole thing. And it's like let's just share what we have, and then like
Yeah,
God has a way of making
absolutely.
everything come together. Like even
Yeah.
is her name Yvonne? No, it's not Yvonne. Yvonne is the confidence girl. I forgot her
Yes,
name. She's
she
in
is.
Mexico. She's the one
Was
who
she?
talks about the she her journey and building
Hmm.
um her boutique hotel and stuff like
Oh,
that. Like I forgot her name, but you could
was
reach
she
out
in
to her
the?
and see if you
Yeah,
can do a retreat at her place.
she was in the course we took.
Hmm.
Okay,
I
because there's
forgot. She
another
has like
lady
short hair.
that does a boutique hotel in Mexico, Michelle Wedderburn. She has one too,
Yeah. See,
and hers
let's
she
reach
has
out
one
to
up
people
after the
and
Elm. Yeah,
collaborate
okay.
like that. I think it'll be you know mutually beneficial for everybody. But I
Mm-hmm,
think that's
mm-hmm.
that's really really awesome way to do that.
I gotta go back and look at that. Yeah, I do too. I really do.
That's awesome. So right now is just figuring out how you want to push the contract and then
Mhm.
use that as leverage to then move part-time abroad. So like when you say part-time, what does that mean? Like,
So part time for me and my the way I'm seeing it, like 6 months out of the year, we're somewhere doing something, one or two places, and maybe even three places. I want to kind of slow travel a little bit. I don't want to be somewhere new every
same.
week. That would really burn me out. But I want to kind of set up and be somewhere for a couple of months at a time. If we like it, we can extend it. If we don't, then we can move on to the next place. And that 6 months abroad may end up being 8 months abroad. I'm not, it
That's
doesn't
the
matter. It's just
beauty
like
of flexibility.
whatever happens. Exactly.
And
And that's
that's one
why,
of the things
yes,
I talk about a lot. And I just was talking to Danielle about that as well. She was in our group as well. And it's like, that's one of the things entrepreneurs give you, that
yes,
W-2, unless it's even with remote, right? Even if you have a W-2
yeah,
that's completely remote, you still have 8 hours or 10 hours,
yeah,
however long the commitment is to that job.
right,
But in having your W-2, you could decide, okay, I'm going to work for this period of time and be flexible and do all the things that you really want to do. And I think
right.
time is the true commodity. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
you could
it
make
absolutely
as
is.
much
It
money
absolutely
as you
is.
can working for someone else and not living your dream, or you could take a risk, because either one is a risk, right? You risk
Yeah,
working for
yeah,
somebody else, or take the risk and build your dreams and travel.
yeah.
I used to say I want to vacation 2 times a year for 6 months.
I just want to go on 2 vacations a year, just two, six
Just
months at
two.
a
That's
time.
it. You know, 6 months.
I'm not asking for much. I love that.
That's
I'm gonna
it.
have to
That's what
borrow
I want.
that.
But yeah, definitely that flexibility. That would be the dream, just to like be able to
Yeah,
take my little one, and hopefully later on have more, and just like be here for two
yeah,
months and be here, and then just discover,
yeah.
because I think that's the best way to
Discover.
learn. And
Yes.
like you said too, one of the things I realized being abroad, and I know Stephanie Perry talks about this a lot, is I
Mhm.
realize when I'm like anywhere we're going, I'm like, let's get there, rush, 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 rush. And I'm
Yeah.
abroad, even if I'm just going to like sightseeing here, right?
Yeah.
I'm in Florida. Even if we're going sightseeing, I'm still like, let's get to the destination. Let's get. I realize when I'm abroad, I don't have that, and I don't know what it is, but it's just
Wow.
like you're like, I don't know where we're going
Yeah.
to. We're just sightseeing, but I'm not in
Let's
a
just do.
rush.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
there's something
That's
about
that's
I,
amazing.
I feel like the structure here and culture here that makes you
It is.
rush high school.
Yeah.
It
Where
does.
you going?
It's like you're rushing to be older.
Yeah.
You're rushing to get a job. You're rushing. Why? Because at
I
the end of
can't
the day,
wait for
it's death.
this. I can't wait for that. Yeah. And just ready to go, ready to go. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So he always used to say that. It's like, why are you rushing? You're just rushing toward death. Just enjoy
Yeah.
it.
In the moment, yeah. I love that. I really think that that's something that when you travel, it does give you that. But I feel like it does come more abroad than in when I travel in the States. When we travel in the States as a family, we do the same thing. We're going sightseeing. It's just like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's do this, let's go, let's go, let's go. And when I'm abroad, it's just like, relax.
That's what
I'm
I'm
more
saying. So it's
relaxed.
like I'm on vacation. I'm still in vacation here,
Yeah.
but I'm still rushing versus I'm
But
on
yeah,
vacation.
still rushing.
Yeah, I'm on vacation somewhere else. I'm not rushing. And I think it's the culture too, because no one's in a rush there.
That's
So you
true.
kind of
No one's in a
absorb
rush
that.
around you.
Exactly. I think that's what it is. I think like
Yeah.
we went to Colombia and I went to a restaurant and I ordered this like juice thing. 20
Hmm.
minutes later my juice still didn't come. And I was like, what are y'all doing? Like y'all picking this
In
thing from a
America.
tree and making it? And it was like, yes, literally. That's literally
Oh,
what they're
wow.
doing. I was like, oh, carry
Now
on.
you know when you in a restaurant in America, it's like, did they have to go kill that chicken? What's taking so long?
And
I'm
I was
like,
like,
yeah,
yes, they
literally, you're
literally
eating
are
your
right
food.
now. And I'm like, well,
Wow.
carry on, child. Now
Okay.
I learned. So yeah, and their lunch, even their lunch time is like, yeah, lunch. They an hour
Yeah.
lunch, 2 hour lunch, whatever.
Wow.
No pressure, right? And it's like here we got like one of my hours is like 15. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm. Hmm. So how does that work for your husband when you're abroad? Is he able to relax with that in terms of
my
like
husband.
things
I
not
feel like
happening fast?
I feel my husband has always been on island time. I'm like, we left the
Okay.
island.
Okay.
He's always been on island time. Okay, he's
Hmm.
not rushing. Like even today, he had to take our son to the doctor's appointment, and I'm just like, you have to wake up at this time and go. He's like, I got it, I got it, and he
Yeah.
just. I'm like 8:50. You still here? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm gonna get there. Like, no
Go
rush,
go.
whatever.
Okay.
And yeah,
That's
so
interesting. So you're like the let's go one, and he's like, oh, yeah,
very much so. Unless
yeah,
he's like late and he's driving and he drives like a race car person, like he
yeah,
which
yeah.
scares me. But
Yep.
other than that, like yeah, he's definitely on a like let's take it slow type thing. But he's
Yeah.
more
That's
ready.
good.
Like, are you and your husband as ready to go, or are you like more ready and
We
he's not?
I'm more ready. I've been ready. I've been ready. 2019 ready is when I research something, I start really, really early and I just like build up. So 2019 is when I just really got this bug. I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I just started researching more and looking at different people's YouTube videos in different places. I've looked at people that have relocated to Africa, just everywhere. So he's coming around to the idea and he wants to do it, but he's like, how? He's the person that's like, okay, but how? like logistics. Let's talk logistics because we still have to eat. Like we have to, like how are we going to afford to eat when we there?
It's
So
funny
that's
because
him because he has like a literal job. So he's like, how? I cannot go to work and still be in another country. So how will we make that work? And once that's worked out, then he will be able to like relax because he's the one that's kind of wound up more tightly.
see, the funny thing is usually I'm the one that's like that, but when it comes to the moving abroad thing, all of a sudden my husband is like that now. And I'm just
Oh,
like, I know, because I'm like, let's just sell everything and just go.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
go. He's like, hold up, calm down. It's just,
See,
let's
that's
think
me.
about
I'm
this.
like, we'll figure it out when we get there. Let's just go. That's me. And he's like,
That, and
okay,
that's usually
give
not
me a
me.
plan.
That's usually not me. But this time around,
Okay.
I'm just like, we could sell everything. We could get this apartment. It's gonna cost us this much. And he's like, we're gonna
Yeah.
go through our savings in like an eye blink. I'm like, we'll figure it out though.
Yeah,
We'll,
absolutely.
we'll be there.
Because we're
We'll
not,
figure it out.
they're thinking about men, they're thinking about emergencies, they're thinking about all the things that men are
I
responsible
think
for
about
thinking.
emergencies. I'm telling you, I'm usually the one that's like with finances. I'm like
Yeah.
this, this. But lately, I don't know what it's been since like this year started. I was like
Yeah.
fire under my butt, and I was like
Yeah.
March 2025
Yeah.
when it took bounce.
Do you think, like, what makes this year different? Do you think anywhere subconsciously, with it being an election year, you had any thoughts about that? Or
I
what do you
think
think is so different
I'm
for
gonna
this
be
year that's
honest
supposed
with
to get
you.
where you want to go?
I know this has been recorded, so I might edit this part out. I don't know. But I think it's a multi-layered factor, right? I feel like
Yeah.
we've been seeing the signs of something about to shift for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think
Absolutely.
spiritually, I think it's funny because I'm a Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is gonna sound so funny. My husband is not a Christian, and he practices a completely different religion, which is Ifta, and
Okay.
right. So Ifta is not like voodooism, but it's like people would
Mm-hmm.
put it in that category.
Right.
So completely two different religion. My
Yeah.
approach, and like I've been having uh, different prophets, people like that saying there are things
Yeah.
coming that you need to get ready for. Things coming on the
Yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
side. His
Yeah.
side, same thing. We listen to a whole lot of podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Podcasters and the economic side saying
Yes.
the same thing. Then you have people that are satanic. They say they are satanic. That I'm not calling them that.
Right.
They literally say that's what they are. They like there's a
That's what
shift,
I do.
energy
Right.
shift, and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. They're like something's coming. So I'm like,
Mm.
but it's coming to the United States, like specifically.
Yes, absolutely. That's the same thing I have heard as well.
You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Yep.
okay, so the world is saying that, Christians are saying that, other religions are saying that, like economic
Mm-hmm.
people are saying that, some politicians are
Yeah.
saying that. I was like, you know what? I don't think it's a coincidence. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to pick up and go.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, and then the
We've
fact
always been
that
like
I've been,
preppers, low key preppers too. We do a little prepping. Yeah, a little stockpiling, just a little bit.
just listen,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. We don't do a little bit, we do a lot of bit.
Now, see, I'm also former military, so I have my mindset around things. My level of preparedness is it looks different in a lot of different ways. So I'm former military, former police. So when I look at things going on, I see it from a different lens. So when I prepare, lots of stuff has to be prepared.
My
And
husband,
I
it's funny. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, it's not a completely comfortable way to live, but that spirituality piece, I don't worry. I just stay ready.
Yeah. So what you just said, stay ready. My husband's been on that. My husband is like,
Yeah.
stay ready, so you don't have to get ready,
That part.
right?
Yeah.
That, and though he has never been in the military, anytime he meets the Marine, and Marines, usually they say Marines know their own. You're a Marine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. It's so funny. That's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Well,
We know our
usually
own.
They say Marines know their own, but every time someone like a Marine sees my husband, it automatically says Semper Fi
I think he's.
and thinks he's a Marine. And he's like, he's not, but his whole
Yeah.
demeanor, like how he carries
Yeah.
himself, a lot of his friends are in the military. He's never been to the military,
Yeah.
but that's just how he is. So like he approaches things similarly, if that makes
Yes.
sense. So
Absolutely.
he's
Absolutely.
like, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I did not know you were in the Marines. I
My
know you were
philosophy.
military. Hey, well, thank you for your
Yeah.
service.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I feel the same way as you in terms of like why this year was different for me. And even with my language learning, I just started to take it really serious this year. And I'm like, I've put a lot of time into learning Spanish on and off over the years. And I'm like, this year is the year that I really want to make some significant gains. So if I go somewhere and I'm living here part time, or if it turns into full time, at least I can communicate. Like, at least I need to be able to communicate. Because my
Yeah.
husband, he doesn't have an interest in language like that. My oldest son is wanting to learn Swahili, and my youngest son likes sign language.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome. At least
um,
they're picking up the language interest.
they're doing something. So it's like, okay, you start learning something and you see how you like it, see how easy it can be. Maybe ittle
Oh, you'll pick
everybody
up
knows
other
a little
ones.
bit of
Once you
Spanish just
pick
based on
one,
YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah,
once they pick up one, they're gonna have interest in other ones. I'm sure of it.
right.
Yeah,
I think
but
so too.
yeah, it's yeah. For me, it was that I just love language and I love the way people communicate. Like I
Yeah,
love
yeah, me too.
seeing where we're somewhere and like no one speaks the language and then yet we can communicate. I think that's the most beautiful
Yeah,
thing in the world. Like
I do too.
yeah, we went to Thailand and we obviously spoke English. This other guy spoke German. The like the
Wow.
Taiwanese people, and we were
Hmm.
having a full blown conversation, not in English, not in German, not in, you know, trying to like
In body
express
language.
yes in body language and like stuff, and it was just the most
Yeah.
beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'm just like humans, we'll figure it out. Like
Wow.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely. Yeah,
I
I
love
love
it.
that too. That's so cool.
That's
Thailand is on
exciting.
my list. That's on my list to go. I want to go to
Oh,
Thailand
go. I don't know if I
real
would
bad.
recommend Bangkok because it's a little
That's what I hear too,
it's
family
chaotic.
wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
I was not pleasant with some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Wow.
offline. But I,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Well, yeah, I want to know about that.
yeah, but it was still very like Phuket was super super nice,
Hmm.
super chill. Like, and I think that's
That's
most places. Like when you go off of like the major cities, that's when you really
absolutely.
get to experience like okay when people are not stressed in the city maybe they act
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah, that's what I like as well. I like to go off the beaten path. I don't like to be like in the main touristy areas anywhere I go, even when I travel in the U.S. Same way, to just kind of relax into whatever's taking place around me, see what the culture is like and stuff like that. I think you can experience it better when you're not in the hustle and bustle. And I
Yeah,
get very easily overstimulated by environments, so I
yeah,
really don't like.
I'm frugal, right?
Yeah, me
And so
too.
I'm like things are way cheaper when it's not in the touristy area
It
anyway.
is. It just is. Yeah.
So
And
I'm
the more
like I'd
people you
rather
have to
go
see, the
there.
more mindful you have to be.
That's what I'm saying. Like the same thing would cost like $5 in the touristy area. It costs $1 in a
Yep.
non-touristy area. So I'm like, I'd
Yeah.
rather stay, you know, over there and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that's
Same.
exciting. I hope we can both be out of here by March, girl.
I
I
know.
don't know.
I'm telling you now. I'm thinking maybe I need to push up my timeline. Maybe I need to be
I
like
told my
February.
husband, you laughing? I told my husband this, like last week. I said, how about January? How about January?
Yeah. How about
And
that?
he's like, I don't even think we can make March. I'm like, but I think we need to.
Yeah. I think we need to make March. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's what it's coming down to for me. It's just like I feel the need for it to be March. It's not as much. you can always use more time. You can always use more time to get ready. You can always plan more, plan better, have more, save more. But for me, March is like,
Do you feel like a
this is the
pressure
latest.
almost?
It's not, it's,
Like a push? Like, I literally feel like
it's
a small
about to get
push.
woo woo a little bit. Yeah, I feel like I don't feel anything that makes me feel afraid or worried, but it's like, it's like a push. It's like, okay, this is what needs to happen.
Same. Same.
And
I'm not
do what you
anxious
need
about
to do.
anything,
Yeah,
right? Because God says don't be anxious about anything. So I'm
that's
not
right.
necessarily anxious. I'm not worried, which I'm a worrier. Well, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna claim that. I used to worry a lot. I
yeah.
used to. Now I don't worry as much, right? Especially as I work with my journey with God, like I'm trusting Him more and
Absolutely.
more. So I
Yeah.
don't worry as much as I used to. I still do, but I don't worry
Hmm.
as much. So I'm not like worried that whatever's gonna happen, I know I'm covered by God, so I'm not like worried
Absolutely.
about that. At the same time, I've just been feeling this push, like
Yeah.
I need to go. Thing is, like with my sales coaching, like I started in 2018, 2019, did on and
Okay.
off, then the pandemic hit, then I just went ghost. So this year is when I like really
Yeah.
restarted it. So because last year I was like kind of like, what do I do? I really love interior design. So I was like, I'm gonna go into interior designing, do that. But it was like, do
Yeah.
what you know you can do in your sleep, and you can
Mm.
help people, and you know you can get them results. And I was like, interior design, I could do that. It was like, no. It's like as much, I'm so serious. Like as much as I was like,
Yeah.
I want to do interior design and go that route, I kept being redirected to sales again. And I was like, I already tried this, like,
Mm.
but I kept being
Yeah.
redirected to that. But I was like, okay, so I'm gonna give it. I told God, no lie, I said I'm gonna give it a one
Yeah.
solid year. I'm gonna be consistent because for 5 years straight, God's telling me, be consistent, and you will succeed. Be consistent, and you will succeed.
Yeah.
Girl, that consistency was not my thing. But
That's
this
my
year,
same message too.
huh?
That's the same message I'm getting to about the consistency because I'm
Yeah,
easily distracted and I'm like, huh, I'll try this. I'll try that.
that's why I love your quote, because me and you are right here. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
That's why I was like, I was the same, but it was like, be consistent, be consistent. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be consistent. At first, I was like, I'm just going to be consistent at doing videos. Then it was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to be consistent at like actually pursuing, like trying to do marketing because I was not doing marketing at all. I was not getting leads, so therefore I can't close anybody. So I was like, okay,
Right.
I'm gonna try to be more consistent at that. And then I hired an intern who's, thank God, so far really, really great. So doing that, and I'm like, okay, now we have a plan and stuff like that. But it was like everything happened this year. It's like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I don't think it's a coincidence. I'm like, things had to happen this year in order for me to
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
yeah, so get
Yeah.
ready,
Same.
girl.
We spent last year. So we live in Tennessee and we have for over a decade. But last year we spent the year in Minnesota. My husband retired from firefighting in 2022. And so he wanted to start back doing something else. He decided he wanted to work for the railroad. Okay, let's go to Minnesota. This is the kind of thing we do, okay? This is craziness that we do. And in 2022, when he retired from firefighting, we spent the summer camp hosting in Alaska, off grid, in the
That's
national forest.
girl. Is your husband black?
Yeah.
What y'all do?
Yeah, he is, but he is. He's mixed, but yeah, he's black. Um, and we love camping, obviously. I don't know if it's obvious, but
I
we love
love
camping. We
camping,
love
but not in Alaska, girl.
Well, it was during the summer, so it wasn't like cold, It's not that type of Alaska, but it was just so beautiful.
I
So
don't.
beautiful.
Maybe
We
because
love Alaska.
I'm like a Florida girl. I'm like, what you mean wasn't cold? But you're in Tennessee, so maybe that's why you think so.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I don't like heat like that. Winter's my favorite season. I'm struggling this summer. It's been so hot. I'm struggling so bad. Now, I say winter's my favorite season until we spent the year in Minnesota. this is a different kind of cold. This is the cold where your bones can't get warm. And I was like, I'm gonna need to go back to Tennessee.
Yeah,
So
I don't
I was
know.
like, no, I can't be here. I can't be here. I need to go back home. And so we came back to Tennessee, and this is the year, like you were saying, like this is the year where things have to be restructured, and we got to be really intentional and do things a certain way for the future. So this is that year.
Yeah, and my thing too is like how I feel about getting ready for whatever may or may not come. It's like
Yeah.
if I can at least structure myself, be consistent, and like set things up. If the thing
Yes.
comes, I'm ready. If it's not come,
You're
I've already
ready,
built
right?
this habit and built this
That's right.
consistency and have everything structured so that if it in 2025, if it's 2026, I'm not like, oh my
You're
gosh, I'm
already ready.
already like,
Yeah. You're
so
already building the muscles that you're gonna need to use for whatever happens
yeah, so get ready.
or doesn't
So
happen.
stay ready so you don't have to get
So
ready.
you got to get ready.
That's the
That's
thing.
right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. They
Yeah.
call my husband a doomsday prepper. I'm like, but we gonna be all right.
But we gonna be okay.
We're gonna be
Same.
okay.
Yeah. We gonna be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
don't. It's definitely not a worry feeling, but it's a
it's a gentle push. It's like,
it's a gentle push. It's like, yeah,
yeah.
move
See, I'm gonna
with a
tell my
move with
husband
a
I got
sense of
confirmation
purpose.
today.
Yeah, move with a sense of purpose. This is not like I tell my kids, you play how you practice. So now it's the time to be practicing a certain way. So when it's go time, you can. It's nothing different. You've been doing it like this all along.
Yeah. It's hard to explain that to a 4-year-old. Like
Yeah,
wanting
it
to
is.
eat your food and not waste food because we don't know what's coming. So I try
Right.
to use one of his shows that he watches to kind of explain like what
Yeah.
what might happen because I don't want to instill fear in him too. Like, oh, something's
Absolutely.
bad is about to happen and blah blah blah. But I also
Yeah.
trying to let him know like, hey, there's something that may happen and we have to be ready to, you
Yeah.
know, get ready. But the thing
Yeah.
that I thought was crazy is like the fact that now YouTubers are talking about it. I'm like, it's already too late. So I'm like,
Yeah. That's true.
yeah, I'm like once everyone's like on board and telling you to like, oh, get ready, get ready, get ready, and I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be one of those people that panic, but I'm like, listen, y'all, I'd rather have a bunch of stuff and don't need it
Then right, absolutely, and
than
know a
to
bunch of
be,
different ways to do a bunch of different things.
yeah,
We even raised chickens during the pandemic. We
are we
raised
twins?
chickens during the pandemic.
My
And we didn't have spring chickens. We had winter chickens. They had to like stay in the garage because it was like cold outside. I was like, we need
listen,
to do this now.
my
I don't need
husband
to wait
had to
spring.
convince me to get chickens, and
How
I was
many
just
did you
like,
get?
we got nine, and then some animal ate one of them.
Okay.
So,
We
but it's
got
only
10.
three of us. So, and they lay 8 eggs every single day. So, like,
Absolutely.
we give eggs away. But
Yeah.
he had to convince me to get those chickens. I was like,
Yeah.
what's the point? I don't want to get chickens. Just find out my son is allergic to chicken eggs. So I'm like,
Oh, no.
I know. And I'm like, what's the point? We don't need those things. And then, of course, what happened? Remember the whole season where chicken prices, egg
Where
prices.
yeah, where eggs like $20 a carton,
Yes.
something
So it
crazy.
was
Yeah.
like, oh,
And I'm
I
like,
guess you're
oh, I'm
right.
cracking all my eggs. Oh, look at these prices.
So I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I guess my husband be knowing what he's talking about. Let me stop fighting him. Then I hear
Yeah.
talking about he
Stop
want a
fighting
goat.
it.
I'm like, a goat.
We want, yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
I
I
want to go
don't know if I want a goat, but now I'm like, let me stop fighting my husband and let's
and get
get
that
this
go.
goat.
Yeah, we had 10. We ordered 10 chickens. We got 11. One passed away a couple of days after we got it because when we got it, it looked like it was like kind of sick already. So we ended up with 10. And before we went to Alaska, we gave them away to one of my husband's former coworkers, and he kept them, and he still has them. But I learned how to raise chickens. So
Yeah,
I can
we
get some
still.
more, and I
Yeah,
know what
he
to do.
wants to get a rooster so they can start hatching eggs. I'm like,
Yeah,
now
I
we're
didn't
gonna
have a
have a whole
rooster.
farm out here. No,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
didn't
want
have a
a rooster.
rooster. I wasn't ready for the rooster problems. I just wanted the eggs. I don't need no extra chickens. 10 was a lot for 4 people. A lot of egg
That's
production.
what I'm saying.
When you
Nine is
go
a
out of
lot for.
town, somebody got to come and get those eggs for you. That was
Oh,
another
my
thing.
friends
We
were
were
more than
traveling
happy
so
to.
much that I'm like, it's becoming a lot because they have to be fed and watered and all that while you're gone. And we would be gone for a while. When the pandemic first hit, we left for like a month in
Yeah,
our
that's
travel
a lot.
trailer. We just got in the travel trailer and left because of everything that was going on, and we just went to a lot of national parks because nobody was there, and traveled for about a month, and then had to have friends come and get the chicken eggs.
Same when we went to where did we go? But we drove from Mexico all the way to Belize.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, we were there for like 2 weeks. So we had to get our friends had to come and get eggs. Same thing, and that was why
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know about more chicken thing, and then getting a rooster and
yeah.
all of that. But now he wants to go,
The more you
and
get for farm life, the more it ties you to the property. That's what I find
that's what
because
I
you
was
gotta
saying.
be
And
there,
that's why I was just like, let's just sell. But his thing is, what happens if we can't leave?
and
Whatever
then we need all that.
happens,
Hmm. I
whatever.
understand that.
Yeah, it's like we need to have a base that's already have a garden and already have food and
Hmm.
stuff like that, so that if for whatever, yeah, we making all these plans to go, but if whatever happens happen now, what are you gonna
Yeah,
do? You know what I mean?
yeah.
You
That's a
going,
good point.
yeah,
That's a good point because I've been thinking about since we've been back from Minnesota, we've talked about chickens, not 10, but we've talked about getting some more. And I'm like, I don't want to tie myself down, but my husband says the same thing
yeah.
as yours.
See,
So it makes sense. So
that's
I
what I'm like.
planted an apricot tree this year. I have an elderberry bush. Anything I add to the yard, I try to make sure it's something that's either an herb or a fruit producing situation.
Yeah, my husband's the
And
same way.
compost.
Yeah,
So
we have
it's
fruit
like if we
trees, we have
leave, we can leave.
herbs.
If we don't, we can stay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the thing too, because I was just like, let's just sell the house and everything,
Yeah.
and we own well water. Um,
I
so
wish.
yeah,
That's a gift.
so that was the thing. Like, so the more and more we're thinking about it, and then the more and more people are talking about all of these stuff, we're
Yeah.
like, okay, our well system is it can run without electricity. So even if the
Mm,
water shut off, like electricity shut off, it can still,
yeah.
run. So his
That's
whole thing was
important.
like, hey, you know, he don't want to sell the property because it's like if
Yeah.
we can't leave, we
And
need
then
to
if you
have something that
go
has food.
and then you have to come back, then what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I gotta follow the head of the household. He's right,
Yeah. Yeah.
even though I don't want to say that out loud. But he's right.
I know, right? But he has a good point because that well water factor, water is the biggest factor when you're talking about conservation, when you're talking about prepping. The water is the most essential step. You
Yeah.
need the water.
I think
You need the water. You can
one of
figure
the
the
things
food
which
out.
I'm surprised Florida doesn't do is like when you build a new house, they don't include gutters in there for whatever reason. So
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
apparently
A
there's
lot
some
of houses are
states,
doing that. A lot
huh?
of houses are doing that. A lot of houses are doing that in a lot of states where they're not putting gutters.
Yeah, but not only that, they're making it illegal for you to collect water, rainwater.
Why
Did
can't
you
I?
know that?
In some places, yeah, I knew that.
I was like, why? Explain it to
Because they
me.
want you to be dependent on them for all the things that you need.
But it's
This water's
free
coming out the
from
sky.
God.
Right. This water's coming out the sky as a gift.
Are you telling me I can? So next thing you're gonna tell me it's illegal for me to breathe air?
Right. Or I need to pay for this air that I'm breathing.
Make it make sense. I'm like, then Huh, 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 what? Yeah,
Well,
I
and
think my
they
cousin collected
say
some water.
it's because in some cities where they have these reservoirs where the government is collecting the rainwater, it's not going to affect what you collect and if I collect. But they say it does. I don't,
How?
because they needed the certain amount of the runoff from wherever the water is coming from, however it runs off from different neighborhoods and whatever system they have in place. They need all that.
Even if we all collected some water, we I told you I live in Florida, right?
Yeah.
We have rainy season. We have hurricane
It rains, and it rains in Florida like all the time.
hurricane season
Yeah.
all the time.
All the time. You could just be in Florida. It's a nice sunny day. Here comes the rain. Now it's gone. It's plenty of rain in Florida.
Make it
It's
make
plenty of
sense.
rain.
It
There's
doesn't
plenty of
make
rain to
sense.
go around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I don't care what they say. I'm collecting my water. I don't
Yeah.
no, because
Yeah.
then if it stops raining, I don't know what's gonna happen because
Yeah.
if I decide I'm gonna curse the land, so
Oh, and
I need water. Sorry, not
yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna collect.
Collect some water.
I'm gonna collect
Because
some water.
the water's the big thing, and people think about water collection or even like stockpiling lightly. They think about that in terms of this doomsday scenario. In 2020, this whole year was like crazy. There was a tornado here in Tennessee, and it came over my area where I live. My
Oh
husband
my
was at work.
gosh.
Me and my boys were at home, and here's the tornado, and we were without power for a week. We got very fortunate because of the way our house sits up on this hill in this cul-de-sac. We were the least impacted in our neighborhood, and we were very fortunate. But we still didn't have power for a week. And at the time, we had our travel trailer, and it only got scratched up when other people's houses, roofs, like off, cars down the road. And
Oh
our
my
travel
gosh.
trailer's just in the backyard with just a few scratches. So we lived in that for a week because we obviously had preparation, gas, generator, this, that, and had to live in it for a week. So you think about what you need. You could need stuff for a week. You could need things for 30 days just with natural disasters alone. So having some
Yeah,
type
and
of
my husband's always like that too
stockpile
because
is
we
essential.
always have like water, extra water, and I'm like,
Hmm.
we even well water, we have filtered water, we have all this. Like, why you need water? It's like you never know. So he's the
That's right.
same type of way. But like you said too, it's like there's so many. I'm Haitian, and I think it's a privilege that I grew up where we didn't have electricity all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll go days with no electricity. So it's like I'm
Yeah.
used to not having electricity.
Yeah.
But one of the things I realized is the way you remember how you were talking about the fin in Guatemala.
Honey. Oh.
But the thing is, I was telling my husband the way we build in the United States, we don't build to where you can have airflow like that because
Yeah, we don't build to be supported by nature. That's
no,
absolutely not the way we
no,
build.
we don't.
And they
So
build like that in Guatemala. It's just you can get the
they're
airflow, but you're
way
gonna get bit.
supportive of nature over there. A little too
Yeah,
much,
you're gonna get
but
bit, but the air is flowing.
that's what I'm
But
saying, and that's one of the things I realized. I was just like, if like our AC, like at one point when we just bought the house, because we had to gut everything
yeah,
and renovate, like our AC didn't work, and I'm like, it was cooler outside than it was inside the house,
absolutely.
and I'm just like, what? You open all the windows and everything like that, but the
It
brick,
doesn't
we have
matter.
a brick house, but the brick, the insulation, all the stuff is built to run on the machinery, and if the machinery
Yeah.
doesn't work, even with fans on, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, same thing. We had an AC repair a couple of weeks ago, and it was so hot in the house. Yeah, and during the time where the AC was failing, I slept outside in my tent,
Oh my gosh.
in my backyard. It felt great.
But that's
It
what
was
I'm
hot
saying.
inside.
It's and it's funny because like we were thinking about buying in Belize. And Belize is gorgeous as well. Like love Belize. And I
Yeah.
was looking at how they build not the new houses, but like the old houses. They build them. They
Right.
build them almost like they build houses in Haiti. They build it for nature, so you don't rely on electricity. Like with
Right.
tall windows and like you have these gaps, which I'm like, I don't know about these gaps because that
Yeah.
means critters can come in.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have it to where it's like you don't necessarily need electricity because the light from outside is coming in, and then
Yeah.
you know it like the way they position the windows, there's airflow coming through and things like that. So
Hmm.
they build with like, hey, if electricity is not there, you cool. But I'm like,
Right.
we don't have that. We don't have that. We're very electricity dependent. And I'm like, your
Absolutely.
stove and stuff. I told my husband we should build a pizza parlor so we could cook
Hmm. Yeah.
outside if we have no electricity. I mean, I know how to put
Right.
three rocks together and make it work. I'm Haitian, so I,
Right. You can do
I
what
can make
needs to
it
be
work.
done.
But I'm just
Yeah. Yeah.
saying, like it's all
Yeah.
those things that we don't think about, and we don't think about the skills and things like that we need to get ready.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's more than just having enough canned goods. It's more than just having water, because how you gonna heat up all that food you didn't saved if you don't know how to make a fire without a lighter? Maybe what is
yeah,
your backup plan if your lighter gets lost, if you don't have another way? How are you gonna make your fire?
yeah. All
If
those skill
it's
sets.
if you live in an area where it gets cold, electricity's gone, how you gonna make a fire to stay warm? You have to know how to do that, and you have to practice that, and you have to do it while times are good.
I
So
hope more
you
people
can't be
learn that.
learning how to make no fire when you need it, because then the pressure's on. It's
It's too
going to be
late.
even more difficult to make. When you're under pressure, most people can't perform things they perform all the time when you're under pressure. So you have to practice
Now
like
before
that. You have to practice
something
now.
happens.
Yeah,
But yeah,
just like in policing, you don't just stand at a line and shoot at the target. You got to shoot while you're running, shoot while you're moving, because you're not going to just be
nah, they're
somewhere
gonna make it
standing
easy for
still.
you. They're just gonna
Excuse me,
stop
bad
right
guy.
there.
Can you please just stop right there? Let me
Yeah,
get this perfect shot in before you shoot me, please.
I know.
Yeah,
But that's yeah. It's it's a lot.
yeah,
And again, I'm not worried, but like you said, I'm just like we got to get ready because
yeah,
yeah, same thing. March 2025 keeps coming in my head, and I'm like, I don't know if it
yeah.
just means that whatever is happening is going to happen at that time, or if what.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Or
you
this
have a
is
spare
your.
person.
I just feel like it's the optimal time to do what needs to be done before you have to do it, before you have to do it, and that's what March 2025 feels like to me. It feels like
Be
a
ready
grace
button.
period, because later, you know,
It's like get
may
ready
not be as feasible.
before then. That's like your deadline
Yeah,
to like
yeah, it's like my deadline. Yeah, it's a deadline before. Like, this is your deadline. Even if things don't seem apparent to anyone else, that's your
yeah.
deadline.
And well, that they also say like usually things happen. Not usually things always happen spiritually first before it happens
Absolutely,
manifest
physically.
physically. So it's like it could
Yeah,
be that whatever's
already.
happening is spiritually by March 2025. I don't know, but you
And if
know,
you think about it, if you it probably is, because if you think about now, if people really tune into any changes that you feel or things that you see or things that you're experiencing spiritually right now, just in your own being, if you can detect differences, you know something is happening. That's how I
I feel
feel.
like most
My
people are not
sleep
attuned
is
to those
different.
things.
They're not, because we have a lot of distractions. We have a lot of things to do. We have lives. We have kids. We have this, jobs, that, bills. It's so many things, and you have to like make time and dedicated space to tune in. And if you were to do that, you would know there's already something taking place spiritually. It
Yeah,
just is.
someone was saying how like a lot of I don't know if you're familiar with the Bible, but you know how Daniel
Yes.
had to stop eating for 21 days. Like, he didn't stop eating, but he did the Daniel fast, right?
Yeah, yeah,
For 21 days in order for him to like have clarity to hear from God. And
yeah.
it's funny because I've heard it from another gentleman who's not a Christian.
Yeah.
He's it's funny enough, he's a voodoo priest, and he was
Mm,
saying how even looking at the Bible, people had to take things out of their diet in order for them to have clarity in their mind, in order for them to
absolutely.
connect with the spiritual world. So he's
Yeah.
saying it's not a coincidence that our food are being poisoned. I did not know we were going to have this conversation, girl.
I know, right? How did we get right here? You didn't even know. I didn't know you knew this. You didn't know I knew this.
I know, right?
How did we
But
get here? This is our divine appointment.
I,
Here we are. We've
that's
arrived.
fine. I don't even know if this is even for the business stuff,
the,
whatever.
the people.
For like, I'm just talking to you right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
so he was like, you know, if you look at even in the Bible times, people had to stop eating in order for them to have clarity, and the food back then
Yeah.
was good. So
Right,
imagine the
right.
food being poisoned now, and you're eating that, and you're expecting to have spiritual clarity. So it's not a coincidence where it says that in the Bible it says when Jesus says this kind, when he was casting out the demon, he says can only be cast out by prayer and fasting.
Prayer and
You literally
fasting.
have to
Absolutely.
fast in order
Yeah.
for you to do that. I am now this year starting to get fasting seriously, where
Yeah.
I try to fast 2 days a week at least. Before
Wow. Yeah.
that, I didn't understand that. And I don't think it's a
This is crazy.
coincidence how important fasting is for you to like,
Yeah.
wake up your mind and like be
Hmm,
able to
hmm.
listen to God
To get
and pray.
clarity. To get the clarity. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
honestly feel like so before all this, I was going to the doctor and I was like, we're trying to have another baby. I
Aw.
have not I've not been pregnant for 3 years. So I was like
Mm.
getting really discouraged. So he told me like I have to I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to work out, lose weight, like, get my
Yeah.
iron up, all those things. So with
Hmm.
me and my doctor, like, yep, that's the goal, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And what was it, yesterday? I was about to eat something dairy, which I know I'm not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
I was about to eat dairy. And even today again, I was about to eat dairy. And then something told me, put that down.
Mm.
Like, put
Can
that
we
down.
obey though?
You know what
We
I mean?
here.
And it's like,
People cannot.
and you know how, like, it was funny.
Mm.
Yesterday, I was having some stomach issue. And I was telling myself, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. He said, it's okay, but mommy, no pizzas for you. No more pizzas for you. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's a coincidence that he told me not
Yeah.
to have that, and then I'm about to grab the cheese and something tell me to put it down. And I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
feel like those things are not only physically affecting us, but also
A-
spiritually blinding us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what happened to me in Guatemala when I got sick. I don't know if it was passive water contamination or something that happened. But I couldn't eat for 2 days. And the amount of clarity you get from not eating, the things that you can see, the things you can hear, the things you can experience, it was just like I wanted a certain experience when I went to Guatemala beyond language learning. I asked God for a certain experience.
I was
And when
like,
I was sick
got
in
you.
this bed, and God was like, you asked for this. And I was like, I didn't ask for diarrhea. I did not. God was like, you asked for this. I was like, oh, tell me more. Just the whole experience I had. I mean, it would take a long time to explain everything, but it was just like I got what I asked for and then some. So, yeah.
Nice.
And now I intermittent fast. I've been doing that for like a year anyway, like maybe 16 hours. I fast, and then the rest of the time I can eat during the 24-hour period. And then just today, it's so ironic you even brought this up because earlier I was having tummy troubles yesterday. it's lots going on here, okay? It's lots going on. And so today I just heard you just won't eat today. I'm like, okay, I just won't eat today. So when you can just surrender and trust, you just go
It,
with it.
I do believe so because so my son has extreme eczema.
Hmm.
And I remember we went to a restaurant and he never tried shrimp. And I was like, oh,
Hmm.
baby, I think you'll like this. Try it. And when I tell you, I felt the Holy Spirit tell me, do not feed him that.
Mm.
I was like, I still fed it to him. Just to find out, literally 2 days later, that he's allergic to shrimp.
Wow.
So I'm like,
And that's that trust factor, right? Where you have to be like,
that's when like
trust and obey.
that's exactly what I'm like now. I'm like, I'm not going to second guess those things. I stopped
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh, and by the way, your baby's coming when it's time. It's just
I
it's
know.
nothing that it's nothing that you're doing or not doing. It's just not time.
Yeah, I had confirmation of that like a week or two ago where it was like, this is not the time for you to be pregnant. Just
And it may not be
trust
the place either.
that part. It's like just trust his
Nothing
timing
wrong.
is gonna be
There's nothing wrong.
perfect. And yeah, I still feel like I need to lose weight though and eat better.
And you can do all the things for your health because it's going to serve you no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, but not like I need to do this in order for me to have a kid. I feel like whenever God's timing is, it is gonna be
Yeah.
perfect, and who knows?
Yeah.
It could be that whatever's coming is gonna be stressful to where I don't need
Right.
that stress.
And not only the stress of trying to conceive, but being pregnant, being in transition while you're pregnant and other stuff, you may have to move a certain way that you can't move when you're pregnant.
That's true.
But I
That's
feel
true.
like pregnancy is a very, oh, I got chills, sorry. Pregnancy is a very sensitive time,
It is.
and it can make us feel very guarded too. So we don't move as bravely when we're pregnant
Yeah,
as we
you're
do
trying to
when we're not.
protect the whole human being.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like we do things based on that, and you may have to do more bold things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm ready for whatever is coming. This was
Hmm.
this was this was not how I thought the conversation was gonna go, but I'm so glad this
I
conversation went how
know,
it
me
went.
too. It's very difficult to find like-minded people and people that are just on the same vibe.
Listen, I saw that quote. I was like, she gets me. You hear her, and then you
That's
said
my
you. I was like, that's why I was like, and then you said you homeschool. I'm like, we gotta talk, girl, because
life.
the sister girl over here is just. I'm like, I don't know. This thing is for the birds.
Yes. Yes. And the only reason why my move is like I'm trying to consider it part-time because of my family, my parents and my brother. I have a brother with a disability, and so I'm really involved in a lot of decision making and helping them, and I have to be accessible, but it's going to get worked out.
Yeah, it will.
Maybe it may come where I'm coming, where I'm going. They may
That
have
I
to.
was gonna say, shoot, it will. He might just be like, on the plane.
Mhm.
Are y'all flying
Mhm.
or y'all driving down?
Um, flying. I don't think my husband will drive because again, he's still operating on the notion that the cartel gonna get me.
When I tell them that they don't want you,
They're not worried about me.
they're not. They-
I said we don't move in those ways in those circles. That doesn't apply to us.
There's this guy that, oh my gosh, why can I remember his channel right now? He's Toyota something runner something. He left
Yeah.
Canada and went all the way down from Canada
Hmm.
to Chile. Is that the point, the end point of South America, which I think
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
Chile?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It is. It's Chile down there. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So he drove his
Mm.
Tacoma, whatever it was, all the way
Hmm.
down there, and we watch his channel,
Yeah.
and he it's just like driving anywhere. I mean, except for the part where he had to put his car in a container over the like Panama
Yeah. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But besides that, he drove all the way there, and I'm just like,
Wow.
I don't know. Like I said, we drove from Cancun all the way to Belize, and I'm talking about the border of Guatemala and Belize. Like,
Yeah.
drove
Yeah.
down there, and so you just go to Texas, Mexico,
And just go.
just
It'd be
go.
great to be able to drive, to have a vehicle, with you. It'd be great to do that.
I think it'll be fun. I think you guys should try it.
I do too.
Even though I'm telling my husband after that drive, I was like, my butt hurt, my knee hurt, my back hurt. I'm like, I don't know. We should have
Yeah.
done more stops.
Yeah. It would be, that's how I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to map it out how that would go, but it would be a really long drive.
Yeah, but
But,
if you plan on stopping multiple places,
yeah.
it may not be as bad because, like, I have a 4-year-old. He is not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to stop a few times, but I just wish we had stopped more often. Then I feel like it would be
Right, right.
a little less stressful. But because we're trying to meet someone and all that stuff, so we're like, trying to get there. But
Yeah.
I think it would be fun, and you could vlog it for your YouTube channel. That would
Yeah.
be fun.
Right.
Yeah, you should
I
check
tried
out
to
that.
blog in Alaska, but we didn't realize off grid meant off grid, and we had no cell phone service. And I'm like, I can't do nothing.
I guess you just record it and then edit it when you get home.
Yeah, I would probably have to do that. But once I realized I was living in this forest, I couldn't record stuff. I just had to find a way to
Be
live
present.
a daily life without. And we were running a whole campground too, so it
Oh,
was amazing. But it was like an opportunity also to really disconnect from everything.
that was my
And I
thing
have to
too.
go in town to make calls.
That's crazy. That's really upgrade. That's really upgrade.
Yeah.
No,
It
like
was amazing. It was
it's
amazing.
funny because like my husband and I thought about doing those type of things, but
Yeah.
we're not the type to share our personal life like that. And not only that, we're
Yeah.
not big on phones. So when we travel, like we're there, we're eating the food, we're talking to locals.
Yeah.
I never remember to like, oh, let me
So,
take a picture or whatever. And people always like, oh,
yeah, that's
you
the
have
hard part.
picture from Belize. And I'm like, no.
Barely. I got like 2 photos.
Uh,
It's like you have to do it intentionally. And when I was like, okay, I'm gonna vlog this, we're gonna do this, and my husband be like, you gotta do this, you gotta take another picture, we gotta do another video. And
that's
really sometimes it can take away from the experience.
exactly. And
And
that was
so we didn't get a chance to vlog nearly half of the places that we went when the pandemic began. We didn't get to vlog a lot of it because we were just enjoying it.
even with renovating, I was just like, doing like the stuff we're doing, and I'm like, oh snap, I have to stop it. I'm like, I don't know how people do it. I'm like, it's not for me. I just want to
Yeah,
get
it's
this
hard.
stuff over with. Maybe I'll take a picture before, and then
Yeah, a before and after.
hopefully remember to take a picture in the middle.
I never can remember the before picture. That's the problem.
Me too. I just go straight in. Like I just did my little office space thing, and I was just like, my friend's like, I thought you took big girl. I just went straight into it. I'm not, because I'm like, I don't care if other people see it. It's for me.
Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm like, yeah. So it's
That's
definitely
been the most difficult part about the consistency piece of my family YouTube channel is just not being able to film everything, take a picture of every little thing. So I'm like, oh,
yeah.
now I have no content.
Maybe do the homeschooling one because I binge watch homeschooling stuff because
Oh yeah. Now I did when they were smaller because I've had this channel since 2017. When did I start this channel? I don't know. It's been a while. They were much smaller, so I did like my classroom project. I have like a lot of stuff on there from back then when I had more time to blog. But that's a good idea because I thought about putting something on there about homeschool
no,
this year
please
because I'm
do
starting
because I
stuff.
speak people going through the stages, they're gonna need like stuff, and a lot of the stuff that are there are for like the toddlers type,
Mm-hmm.
age, but not like, at least I didn't see any, and
Yeah.
maybe because I don't have an elementary school kid, but I do
Right.
think like more and more people, more black people are trying to homeschool their kids, and
Absolutely.
yeah,
And like,
we
how
need
can
the
I do this? I'm not a
resources.
teacher. Yeah. It's like
I'm
a lot of resources you
same,
can use.
same, and like even
Yeah.
if they're no longer in that age, just giving people tips on how to, what to think about, and like how to
Yeah, that's
approach
true.
it. And this girl that I follow, she started a course because of it. Like she teach
Mm.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
And I yeah, I wanted to pay for her course to do it, and then my friend was like, no, don't pay for the course. You're like, that's free resources. You don't have to pay. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
I wanted to support her, so I bought some of
Yeah.
her materials, and
Yeah. And sometimes people could just like put it all together for you, one place, one
that's what I
stop.
was
It just
saying.
makes you
I was
feel
like,
like
it's
it
a
makes it feel
one-stop
worth it.
shop. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But that's another stream of income that you could,
That
look
is true.
into. You
That is
know?
true. I have like my favorite area to homeschool is not the area that my kids are in, but I've just tapped into so many resources and things that I did when they were younger. I could be so creative, and as they get older, they're just like, okay, let's just get to the point and get this over with.
Yeah, I
They
can
don't
see
want to
that.
do as much of the stuff I could do when they were younger, but
I mean,
so
share
now
that
it's more
knowledge because I
technical
know I need it
resources.
right now. And I'll
Yeah.
be the one to be willing to pay for it because I'm like, just
Like,
tell me what I
just
need to
show
do.
me the way. Tell me what to do. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Tell me
saying.
what to
Like,
do.
versus what trying to piece together multiple videos, and I'm just like, she has a
Yeah.
course that says from A, B, C, D. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. That's what I need. So
Yeah,
do it. I
because
can do that for the
everybody
kids.
can't, just wing it. My niece is the same way. She homeschools my great niece. My great niece is 6. And so she's like, what do I do? I'm not a teacher. I'm like, you can still do this. Let me tell you
That's
what
what
to do.
everyone tells
You
me.
can
It's
still
like,
do
you
it.
don't teach her to do this. You can do it.
Yeah,
And they
you
always
don't.
say that's what people used to do back in the days. They didn't go to school to teach. They taught their
Absolutely.
kids. So I was like,
That's
yeah, you're
exactly
right.
what we
I can
did.
do it. But yeah, I'm just like, yeah,
I'm like, you can do this. And Dollar Tree is your friend. Everything you need is at the Dollar Tree
girl,
for
I
that
got a
age.
man back there
Absolutely.
full of Dollar Tree stuff and little activities and stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to like remind myself that he takes everything as a game, so I need to like make everything a game. But
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that. So I definitely need your help.
Yes, the gamifying things is big for boys, and no matter what age they are. My
Yeah.
kids are into Fortnite. They play video games. I'm a gamer. I love video games. And we learn playing Fortnite. Math, figuring out V-Bucks, figuring out what you got to spend, what you got to do, distances. You can
Ah,
incorporate that into a game of
I
Fortnite.
I feel like my husband would be more on that than my son would right now if I was to get Fortnite.
Well, your son's not ready for that yet. Not quite yet.
Yeah,
But yeah.
because I like my husband would be
That's
like,
just like the example for like boys as they get older. Like
yeah,
everything is still a game. It's still going to be a game, but just from a different level. So yeah,
oh, well,
me and my kids, we love video games, and my husband does not.
really?
Yeah, he doesn't play video games. Every now and then he'll play like Madden or something like that. And me and the boys were just saying yesterday, it'd be great if Dad would play Fortnite and we could have a squad, like 4-player
Oh,
team. And I'm like, yes, that would be great.
he's not with it.
He's not with it. I have my own PlayStation. This is serious, okay?
Nah, I think the first game I had PlayStation 1. After that, it was like the Nintendo, like the old Nintendo, like that's what I had.
Yes, yes. Me too. I had that too. Had the
That's the one
Sega,
I had.
I've had Sega, all the PlayStations. I've always loved video games.
I was like I'll play it, but I was not. I was a boring kid. I feel like
Yeah.
even my sibling says that.
I was born to be a boy mom. I'm telling you, like I am. If I had girls, I wouldn't know what to do.
Said that I always wanted to be a boy because I was like I grew up a tomboy, so I was like,
Yeah.
I need a boy because baby girl, my niece, she's like the prettiest. Like she will not come out of her room if her clothes are not coordinated.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Girl, I do good to find some some lipstick, please. This is VIP treatment today that you're getting. Mm-mm.
I don't wear
Especially
makeup
my
ever.
background, I like a uniform and a bun, and I can like that's my life. I
Yeah,
love
I was
that.
like, I was
But
gonna take my braids out, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna do a scarf today because
yeah,
I don't feel like it. I don't feel like
I'm trying. I'm trying to embrace my divine feminine energy and just really put more into myself.
I'm trying.
It's
Okay,
hard. It's not a natural process for me, but I'm working on it.
listen. I know we're almost 2 hours in. I'm gonna tell you something before I let you go because I know you got stuff to do. So I went and got a sewing,
Okay.
straight Bob sewing, and you guys saw the video with me. That was a wig because I had to take the sewing
Oh,
out. Yes,
okay.
because the glue burnt me.
Oh my gosh.
So then she made me a wig, so I wore the wig. But I only wore the wig when I had to like do videos and stuff like that. Then I had my
Right.
nails done. I had full tip thing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, you know what? This is not for me.
Yeah.
I cannot do the straight hair. I cannot do sew-ins. I cannot do the fake nails. I just
Yeah.
have to accept I'm not built like that.
You
I
do.
just want my braids. I want my
Yep.
own nails. I don't wear makeup. I don't have no
Yeah.
makeup on, and I never do any videos with makeup because I'm like, if I start like that, like
Then you
Stephanie
gotta
said,
keep it up.
she said it, and I was like, that's exactly what I was. And even my sister, she's like the very fashionista person, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
just put some mascara, and I was like, ugh, what? No.
I'd be like, I got my man. I don't need. And then they'd be like, "Well, it's for you." But I'm like, "But I just
But I
don't.
don't want it.
I don't want to."
I don't want to. So I wear makeup at
Yeah.
weddings. Or
Yeah.
if I used to go to fashion show when I was younger, I don't remember last time I went to a fashion show. Those are two
Yeah.
times you would find me with makeup. If I'm going to a fashion show or
Or
if
wedding.
if wedding. I'm
Yeah.
not wearing
I
it. I don't
sometimes
do
will
it.
do makeup for date night. Sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes. And
I'm
weddings,
wearing
I
it.
definitely. I'm wearing makeup to your wedding for sure.
I will.
But
That's what I'm saying. This is my gift to you. I am made up. That's it.
yeah,
Even
you're
date
welcome.
night, you may get lipstick. You still won't
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
mascara. You still won't get all the stuff. And I hit that little black line when I'm trying to
I
take.
was gonna say I don't even know how to put that on because I'm not trying to hurt myself.
So
I poked
that's
myself a few times. I'm like, oh, it ain't worth it. I
yeah.
don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
so I am trying to figure out, and it's bad because, like you said, like tap into your community, and I'm just like, I don't have to do that to tap into.
Yeah, you find out what works for you. For what I did, what worked for me is I got some after shower or in the shower lotion. They call it like in shower lotion. So you put it on while you're still in the shower after you shower, like while your skin is still wet. And I was like, oh, I feel so fancy. I'm like, I feel so fancy. This is like, and that's my thing. And Stephanie Perry uses this term. I heard her use it on a live, and it's been my thing, abundance trigger. So I'm like, oh my gosh, bottled water is an abundance trigger for me. I love spring water. That makes me feel feminine. If I have some spring water and if I put it in a glass bottle, you can't tell me nothing. I'm the queen of the ocean with this glass bottle. The in shower lotion. So you just find your thing. I decided to file my natural nails like a different way. And I was like, oh girl, I
Yeah,
don't have to have fake nails, but filing them in a different shape, it just did it for me.
yeah, and it broke all my nails. I don't know if you can see. It broke all my nails. So I
I
was
haven't
like,
had fake
what's the
anything on
point?
my nails in so many years, I couldn't even tell you when because they will break your nails.
That's what I'm saying. I was just like, so what's the point? It's supposed to be protective. I'm like, you ain't protecting
That's what
nothing.
they
You're just
that's what
breaking
they
my
would say.
stuff.
You just put it on to protect your natural nail, and I'm like, no, it broke my nail.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
So
just do what works for you.
I'm still trying to figure out what that is.
You gotta try
Honestly,
some things,
I do. I have to.
especially when your kids are small, like your age, son, and being a boy mom. We can get into this routine of just going, doing, and whatever we do with ourselves is like more of an afterthought.
Yeah.
But just try a few things, and then you find your thing. And then I went from that to I bought some what's the name of it? I can't remember the name brand of it, but I bought some cleanser for my face. Like I spent like $20 on some cleanser. I was like, this is not some from Walmart. I had to go to Sephora, and I was like, go girl. And it did it for me, just having a really quality cleanser. And now I'm like, I have to have a good quality cleanser, some hyaluronic acid, and I use Pond's moisturizer from Walmart. I swear by Pond's. I swear by Pond's, I'm telling you. But you just find the little things that make you feel fulfilled, and it can
Yeah,
be
I'm
small.
working on
It can
that
be
because
expensive, but it's important though, especially as a mother and like longevity. It's important.
I'm trying to figure out what that is to me because I don't know how to put this, but I'm one of those people like shea butter works perfectly because it's hair and
Oh,
all body, right? So I'm like,
oh yeah,
some
I
people,
make my shea butter stuff like whip it, essential oils in it. Yes, honey.
yeah. So, but I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm one of those people. I'm like, I have a moisturizer for my face because my dermatologist recommended it and told me to
Yeah,
wear it, not because I was just like, oh, I should get a moisturizer for my face. Like,
yeah,
I'm one of those people. Like, I'm like, can this do? I need one thing that can do all the stuff.
a
Like,
lot of things. Yeah,
you know what I
you're
mean?
a multi-tool person.
Yes. I I do not like one use kitchen tools. I
Me
don't
either.
understand it because I'm like I don't
Me
got
either.
space for all this crap. No,
I agree.
so I'm like,
Especially
and
being a camper, everything in my when you camp, everything has to have multi-purposes. So that's how I like things to be the same way,
same
even at
way, and
home.
I'm just like I'm a minimalist. I'm a Dave Ramsey fanatic. So I'm not spending money I don't have to spend.
Yeah,
So that's why. But I do agree that I need to figure out something that will make me feel
yeah.
get in touch with my femininity, whatever that
And
looks like for
candles. I
me.
love candles too. So that's
Oh, I
another
do
thing.
get
Like
candles. I do get
I will get
candles.
candles,
Oh, I
different
do get
colors,
flowers.
different
I do get
shapes.
flowers for myself.
Yeah.
Every paycheck, every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I
So
get
like
some
that. Like
flowers. Yeah,
stay in that vein of what makes you feel that
yeah,
way when you get those flowers and these all these small things count.
yeah. So I'm gonna try to do more of that. Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
You're right.
Yay.
Well, thank you so much. We
You
were
are
like all over the
welcome.
place. I don't know what I'm gonna title this.
Right. What we gonna keep? What we gonna edit? What
I
we
have
gonna
no
call it?
idea. I'm
We
just
call
gonna
it the
probably
multi-tool series.
I might just do that. I'm just like, hey, we were just chatting, just be part of the conversation. But it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yes.
email you my phone number so
Yes.
we can chat because I need some mommy help with the
Yeah. We
homeschooling
gotta
stuff.
stay in touch for
Yes.
sure.
'Cause, but thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Welcome.
And I will send you clips and everything once we're done.
Okay.
And yes, awesome. Well, thank you. You have an amazing day. Thank you for watching with
Thank
us,
you.
guys.
You
This
too.
was completely different, I know, but thanks for sticking around. If you got all the way through here.
Right, right. And I enjoyed being here. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
You guys can find me on the Taylor Times.
Yes. Where can people find you? I forgot to say that because I was just like I was chilling with my girlfriend.
Right, we just talking.
Where can
Yeah, on
people find
YouTube.
you?
Yes, on YouTube you can find me at the Taylor Times. And if you're looking for more of my spirituality content, you can find me V Taylor, V-I Taylor on YouTube. And the same at Instagram, The Taylor Times or V Taylor.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I will be texting you soon.
Okay.
And thank you so much for taking 2 hours of your time to chat with me. I really, really appreciate it. You have an amazing day. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.